Welcome back to the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast. It's episode something, 24, 23?
I think it's 24.
23?
Garrett
Episode
knows better
20.
than we do.
Yeah.
I got the invite and it said 23, I think.
All right. Excellent.
Okay.
So we're here in episode 23 or 24 or whatever it is. We don't really care. With us tonight, we have pipe maker extraordinaire Garreet Woo from Pipes by Woo. And I have kind of a personal connection because I have a couple of his pipes that I'll show off. But before we get started, Tim, read us the MBSD Pipes Prop 65 warning logo.
Prop 69, Jim. 69.
69. My sincerest apologies.
Warning, this podcast will expose the listener to offensive, insensitive, off-putting, and otherwise socially unacceptable content known in the state of California to cause cancer. To avoid injury, the sponsors of this podcast suggest you grow a pair.
That's right. In the immortal words of the philosopher Testicles, nut up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. So let's do a little housekeeping first. We've got some great guests coming up. So we've got Kurt Walker from Walker Pipe Company coming next week. Then we have Glenn Tinsky from Tinsky Pipes coming up the week after. Then Neil Robertson from Robertson Pipes. Jason Patrick from J. Patrick Pipes. Kevin Foster from Foster Handmade. Dr. Alan Harrelson from The Pipe Cottage. And then Mike Murphy from Pipe and Tamper will be on March 3rd. So just an exciting
star-studded.
And we have Jay Furman, also from Pipe and Tamper, will join us shortly after Mike does. We are just rolling it in. And by the way,
we're
for
moving
those
into
of you,
high rent district, man.
I know it. And I did. So Tim did an interview a year ago with Brian Levine on Pipes Magazine for their podcast, and I got to do mine this week, and it posted Tuesday. And thank you for all the responses from everybody that listened to it. They said I did a good interview, which I don't know if you'll watch this podcast, but that's kind of a stretch. But Brian was a gracious host.
It was great.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, Brian was just as gracious as he could be, and he commented that our podcast may not be suitable for younger family members. Huh. I don't know why he'd say something like that, but here we are.
Figure.
Uh-oh. Oh, look at that. Tim's got a call. So anyway,
I know,
but that's what's going on.
No, it's not Tommy.
No, not you. All right. Excellent.
Not Tommy, yeah.
All right. Well, also joining us tonight at some point during the podcast, we've sent our first victim, first responder, to come on and talk about your 5 favorite pipes. Chad Brinkman will be coming on soon to talk about his favorite pipes, and I have reached out to Lance, and we'll see what Lance has to say to come on and talking about his 5 favorite pipes. So, again, we sure would like for you to come on and talk about your 5 favorite pipes, because this is the Pipe and Tobacco podcast. So, come on in and join us. And
yeah.
Tim, we are up to, at of the moment, subscribers on YouTube. Let me check right here real quick. YouTube. We are up to Pipe and Tobacco Talk. We are up to 185 subscribers, almost 20 more than last week. So,
oh my gosh, what's happened? It has to be Sarah. We had Sarah on.
Oh my God, have you seen? It's like 330 views now. People love Sarah.
I know, Sarah. It's crazy.
Who's Sarah?
You get.
Sarah is the better half of MBSD Pipes. It's Sarah and Mitchell do MBSD Pipes, and we had her on, and she was a hoot. And people really kind of liked the episode. So excellent.
Well, look, let's get those subscriber numbers up, gang. See if we can get up to, what do we have, 180 what?
185 as of this moment.
185. You know what? I would challenge the audience. Get us to 187, and that'll be something. So like and subscribe when you if you watch us on YouTube, or I think on Spotify, you can give some sort of a thumbs up rating or something like that. Anything you can do like that would be great, because I think it boosts the exposure when you click their buttons. They like people clicking their buttons.
I think they do.
I think they do too. So yeah,
I think it's
please
the algorithm.
Please like and subscribe. And again, thank you to mbsdpipes.com. We are going to have a giveaway coming up. We are getting a Peterson St. Patrick's Day or St. Patty's Day pipe from Mitchell. And I think, Tim, it's time to do the Mangled song lyrics. We've been
I think
kicking
you're right.
that. I think that will be hilarious. Send us the, and I'll throw mine out because it was from Mississippi Queen. So when Patrick won the Mersham, she's like a badger. She moves better on fire, which are not at all the lyrics for that particular song. So. So we will post it. We will post it this week.
Given your dating experience, badger was probably it fit. You're thinking, what else could it be? Got to be a badger.
Could I date someone small and angry? Yes, you could. We'll call her Badger. And she moves better on fire. So there you go. Nice. So let's.
You talk about the flight of fancy to come up with those lyrics. Yeah, she's a badger. She moves better on fire.
Well, I won't even get into how badly I mangled Greengrass and High Tides because I was way off on that one. It happens. Everybody today is like, why didn't you just look at Apple lyrics? Well, because in 1983 there was no Apple lyrics, and if the band didn't put the lyrics on the liner notes, you just kind of made them up. So, and then I think the next one we have to do after that is best breakup song. You break up with your girlfriend, and you hear that song on the radio, and you just want to drive into a bridge abutment. I think those will be on next two contests.
Okay. All right. But the misheard lyrics contest, that's a great one. Yeah, Terry Brewster, that was his brainchild.
All right. Well, see, there you go. And Terry has sent us some hilarious stuff that is not fit to share online. Right. We won't. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. We have Garret with us. And we're going to talk about some of his fantastic pipes. And while we're doing the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, I will be showing my Pipes by Woo collection, which are sitting here next to me. So very, very exciting. So, Garret, how did you get into pipe making? Or let's start off something simple. What are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, I'm drinking Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water. Grapefruit.
Keeping it clean. There you go.
Very clean. And smoking Dorchester, 2018. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh, excellent. Hard to get those esoterica blends.
Yeah. But very enjoyable and worth it.
Excellent. All right. So how did you get started in pipe making, and when did you start? Walk us through how you got to be a pipe maker.
That's a great question because so I started in 2021. Towards the end. Okay, so what happened was I took a 2-year hiatus on when I was working as a durometer technician. I took a 2-year hiatus in 2021, kind of because of COVID and just some other reasons. And kind of on the tail end of that, I started using the machines at my job to kind of play around with some of the blocks of wood that I was getting. And I was like, hey, this is actually kind of cool. And so when I finally left the job, I was like, you know what? I need to do something. I need to I built up enough savings that I could kind of like float for a little bit, but I needed to keep myself busy. And I was like, you know what? I was really into those pipes at work. Let's see what I can do at home with my own stuff. If I just kind of get started with a belt sander. And yeah, it was a belt sander. It was a bandsaw. And yeah, that was really about it to start. And that was 2021. And then, yeah, so ever since then, I've kept track of my pipes, every one numbered, and the rest is kind of just continuing.
All right. So what pipe number are you up to now?
I just finished up 166, which is this guy right here. Finished up 166 today.
Okay. Lift it up just a hair. There we go.
There you go.
Ooh,
oh, yeah, that's nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So that was today. And yeah, 166. So I'm slowly chugging along. I kind of do. Oh, yes. That was what, 164, I believe?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so
it was
I'm
another
slowly
one of
chugging
those.
along. And I try to get maybe one pipe done a week, about so. If I can, because I got my full-time job at the moment.
Yeah, I understand. This whole working for a living thing, kind of a pain.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So,
no, but it was,
go ahead.
I was gonna say it was really good with those 2 years off that I had, that hiatus I took. That's when I really learned to make pipes, and I went to the University of YouTube. I just went to YouTube. I studied the videos, Jay Allen videos, and then things on Instagram. Yeah, I'd find things on Instagram. And I'd be like, hey, I want a pipe like that. Let's see what I can do to make it.
Okay. Now, would you say you have inspirations among the other pipe makers? Anybody's work you're trying to emulate, or did you just, I'm going to do Pipes by Woo my way?
There are a few people, or at least there's at least one person that really comes to mind. That really kind of inspired me. Rich Rosselli from Smith House Pipes, which is this pipe right here that I'm smoking tonight. Nice, kind of apple strawberry type of thing. But yeah, it was Rich's pipes. I really like his kind of simple elegance, and just his pipes are really, they're not flashy necessarily. They're just they're fantastic smokers, in my opinion. And that's the reason why I like Rich's pipes. Fantastic smokers, and they have just the right amount of flair to them.
Nope. I'll agree with that. I have one pipe from Rich, and I absolutely love it. And every time I see one that I like, it's like, oh, I sold that one already. Okay, cool. Thanks. On to the next thing. So, excellent. Tim,
Absolutely.
Go ahead. You look like...
Yeah, Garrett. So then the tampers that you make, the aluminum tampers, is that something that you do on your day job, or you do that at home?
I do that at home, actually, on my metal lathe.
Okay.
So I do those at home, and what's kind of interesting about those is they're magnetic. I use two magnets that I buy the magnets, and for those tampers, you drill them and you put the two magnets together, and it makes a pretty tight fit, basically. Yeah, so those tampers I make here, and they're pretty interesting. I just like the fact that they're magnetic, and they have a brass poker
they're
tool.
neat.
Yeah, they are excellent. And
I'm sorry. There was a guy recently that bought a few of them, and he had them Cerakoted, and they look fantastic.
I don't know what Cerakoting
cool.
is, but it's
Cerakote is kind of like a black, a hard black coating that they use for firearms.
Oh, okay.
Cerakote coating.
Is that like an EDP, like a electro deposition like a powder coat
I'm
kind of
not
thing?
sure how they do it exactly. I don't know. Um, so it's not like anodized. It's kind of got some texture on it.
Hmm.
So I'm not entirely.
Okay.
I think it's sprayed on there. It's kind of got like a mottled texture on it.
Okay,
But
kind of like Parkerized,
yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe.
it's matte finish, but he did them black, and
Okay.
they look really like pretty cool. I just sent them
Yeah,
to
nice.
him, just the straight aluminum, but he did the Serica.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So, what are your? You do a lot of just a variety of textures and finishes and that sort of thing. You prefer one thing over another, whether it's it looks like you're using your Fordham to do some etching. You do some rustication. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of the processes you're using to come up with the finishes that you're achieving, because your finishes are great.
Thank you very much. Yes, I prefer if I can, I like smooth pipes. Just because it gives me uh, an opportunity to kind of play with the grain, to kind of like bring it out uh, to the color or not. So I like it when so I like it like that. Smooth, but also like I'll also rusticate a pipe. Like, say there's some external cosmetic flaws that's just like, I don't feel like filling them. Um, I think this would be better suited as a rusticated pipe. So if the external briar is kind of a little bit not so hot, that's when I'll go ahead and rusticate. Or sometimes, if it's a commission, someone wants it rusticated, or sometimes I just feel like it. I don't know. And then, but I do prefer smooth over rusticated.
Yep.
Do you sandblast it on site?
No, I have never sandblasted before, and that's actually something I'm kind of looking into. Pretty much like right about now. I'm looking at
Okay.
what kind of air compressor I need, how many CFM I need, um, and yeah, the space is an issue too because my shop is kind of small. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the next venture. That's the next journey that I'm hopefully going to take is going on that sandblasting journey. But for now, it's just the rustication and the smooths and some of the etching.
Okay. Now, do you do everything on a metal lathe, or do you have a wood lathe as well?
I have a wood lathe, I have a jet wood lathe, and I have a metal lathe as well. So,
Ah.
and I use them both. Um, with pipes. Because campers, obviously, I do those with the metal lathe, all with the metal lathe. But for the pipes, I do the stummels on the wooden lathe, and I do the entirety of the stems on the metal lathe. Excuse me, did I say whatever? I do the stummels on the wood lathe, and I do the stems on the
Right. You
metal
said
lathe.
that. Yeah.
Sorry.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. No, you
No,
said
we
that
we got
actually.
it. We understood. But we've
Yeah.
both been
No.
drinking, so
So
we're fine.
So what brand metal lathe do you have, and do you like it?
I love it. And it's a Tag metal lathe. I don't know if you've heard of that company.
Yeah, I have.
Fantastic, fantastic, wonderful. Not only is the customer support good, like they help me get set up just really easily. And it's a fantastic unit. I love it. If you're interested in a Tag metal lathe, I would say spend the extra money and get a 5C headstock. If that means to whoever, if that means anything to anyone, but yeah, spend the extra money and get um, the more expensive headstock. It'll save you a lot of time.
Uh, we end up buying a lot of extra stuff to make the cheaper one work anyway, probably, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I ask is that's one of the things that I'm considering for 2024 is a metal lathe to add that. I also use a jet lathe, wood lathe, and exclusively.
Okay.
And it's amazing that kind of if you take your time, what you can do on a wood lathe. But you can hold a lot tighter tolerance using a metal lathe. So that's why I'm considering it, and that's good to know. I've looked at that brand, and I've looked at Grizzly, but you get such mixed reviews with some of the other brands like Grizzly.
Yeah.
They don't hold a zero and kind of thing, and I don't want that.
I've had no problems. I haven't had to tweak my setup at all. Pretty much since I set it up 2 years ago. Yeah. I haven't had to like realign anything, or then again, I haven't really busted anything, or had any big crashes. But I haven't had to realign anything. Everything's pretty much on center on that metal lathe, and I mean, yeah, the support's fantastic. If you have a question, you can just call them, and Craig will answer. So,
Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you.
yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get a pipe from you, how do they get in touch with you, Garret?
That's it's a fantastic question. Main way is through Instagram right now. The dynamic is changing a little bit in terms of how I'm kind of distributing my pipes. I used to put them all up on Etsy, and that's just kind of how I used to do it. But as things have kind of progressed, I've come across a lot more commissions and pipes that kind of sell right off of Instagram, like right off of my stories, people inquiring, and so yeah, the answer is Instagram. Short answer.
Okay. Okay.
But I also do have an Etsy that I do throw some stuff on every so often.
And do you have your own website?
I do have my own website at the moment. It's pipesbywoo.com, and it's kind of linked to Etsy.com. So yeah, but it is my own website. Yeah, and it tells you a little bit about myself, and yeah, so pipesbywoo.com.
Right.
You can
Now, Garret, will you be doing any shows this year?
I would like to go back to the Vegas show. I would like, because last year, the 2023 Las Vegas show was fantastic. That was a lot of fun. So I would like to, if possible, this year go back to Las Vegas. But other than that, I don't have anything planned.
I see. Okay.
But yes, Las Vegas is probably a for sure.
And I was at the Vegas show as well, and I had a table there, but I didn't meet you. I was by myself at the table, and you can't really get away while the show's on.
I had yeah, I know what you mean. I had a few pipes I to put on display on a friend's table. A friend of mine. Do you know Merrick Stickles? Cikl?
Yeah, Merrick.
Merrick.
Right. He was right down at the end next to me, actually.
Yeah. So I was he shared a little bit of his table with me, and we kind of chatted, and so I was able to put some of my stuff out, and I was able to sell a pipe. But yeah, I had to stay there. I had to stand there, and I didn't get to enjoy I didn't get to walk around as much as I would have liked to, but
right,
it was still a lot of fun.
Right, same here. Yeah, it was. And Merrick, great guy. I met him for the first time, and now we stay in periodic contact because he's from Czech Republic, I think.
Yes, correct.
And yeah, great artist.
Yeah, the pipe he brought to that show, I believe he was entering it in for best in show. It had facets on it. It was just, oh man, geometrically beautiful.
Oh, that was the bulldog? That bulldog?
Yeah.
Yes.
With all those
that was cool.
crazy
Yeah, he
facets
showed me
on
that
it.
pipe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
that was beautiful.
Okay, I want to ask you a marketing question because it came up in a work conversation. And you have a Pipes by Woo where it's like a group chat where you send messages out, and anytime you offer a special. Tell me where that idea came from, and tell me about how your results are.
Okay, so what that is a feature that Instagram kind of pushed out maybe a year ago, I would say, and it's called they're called channels. And so what they allow you to do is, so you can set up a channel. So like I set up a Pipes by Woo channel, and you send one initial message, and what it does is it sends it to every one of your followers, I believe. They can choose whether or not to join the channel. And what happens in that channel is like they can't if they can't necessarily say anything, but it's like a broadcast channel where I can give out like specials, or I can give a little tidbit about what I'm doing here and there, or but for the most part I use it for like specials. I use it for people I use it for people that I think are really kind of paying attention to what I'm doing, and I think those would be the ones that would be willing to join my channel. And so that's why I put the specials in that channel, like the 10-15% off my Etsy store, or, on a pipe I have on hand. That's where I would put it, in that Instagram channel. And it's been a pretty clever feature. And I have actually had a little bit of success sending messages out through that channel. So
Interesting.
It was interesting though, because a year ago when it came out, it's like, okay, so send your first message. So I sent my first message, but it was some crazy bungled up message, that I would have really liked to have redone. And it sends it out to like however many followers I have, and I immediately delete it, but and put in a proper one. But yeah, that's how it started. So
Isn't that fun? How special that is.
yeah.
This pipe is on sale for $9. No, it's not. No, that's not the price.
Delete. Call it back. Yeah, right.
Retreat.
Or it, the voice service on there picks up you yelling at the dog or something, and that's what goes out to your. Stop licking your ass. Stop dragging your ass across the carpet.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? So, are you married? Have kids? Any of the fun stuff associated with modern life?
Stuff. I am
all right.
As unfun as it gets at the moment. Let's see. No kids. Not married. No girlfriend at the moment. Yeah, just living it up, making pipes, working, and kind of doing my own thing. So yeah.
All right. Well,
so your shop there, just describe your shop to us.
Okay. Well, I recently kind of changed. I kind of moved things around a little bit, especially with this Fordham there. I moved things around to fit my Fordham, which is basically like a Dremel on steroids. And then I have a metal lathe, a small TAG metal lathe, centered to my left here. Behind the camera, I have a Jet wood lathe that I use for the stunnels. To my right, I have my buffing station. It's more like a table, or half of one. And Yeah, so that's where I've got I've got the Tripoli, and I got my white compound, and I got the carnauba wax. I've got my tool grinder there, because working with ebonite, I'm sure you guys know, or I'm sure Tim, when you work with ebonite, you have to sharpen like crazy if you're using high speed steel, or at least I do. If you're using high speed steel on my metal lathe, I have to sharpen like almost halfway through the stem. So got my tool grinder there, and my French wheel right there. Or you can't see it, but I've got a French wheel. Just one at the moment, but that's all you need, I think.
Yeah, right. It's funny how, much work you can do in a, I don't know, 4x4 foot space. I need to, grab this bit and that particular tool, this piece of briar. The thing that takes up a lot of room is supplies.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, supplies. And what else? Oh, I didn't mention I got a small, little tiny bandsaw here, and then I got this drill press that I was using when I first started making pipes. I used it to drill the bowls and the draft holes and the mortise. Yeah, I use it to drill everything, and it was it was challenging. It taught me a lot, and it taught me how nice it is to have a lathe. But I think it's not. I think it's time for this guy. I think it's time for this drill press to go sometime soon, because I don't really use it very much at the moment.
Yeah.
And so
I have some
to the face.
I have some helpful tips on how to use that drill press. Trust me.
Well,
Yeah. Do you have a boat?
No.
Because they make a great anchor.
I can take stem material and make it kindling faster than anyone else.
It's amazing how quickly you can snap a drill bit off inside of a piece of acrylic,
Who knew there was so much flex in it? But here we are.
Right. Yep.
Excellent. So, where do you get your supplies from? I mean, but if it's a trade secret, say it's a trade secret. But where do you get your blocks from? Where do you get
get most of my blocks from either Rock Crafted or Vermont Freehand. Just that seems to be where most of the pipe makers I've met get their supplies. I could be missing a place, but that seems to be the most readily accessible, is either Rock Crafted or Vermont Freehand. Just they seem to they have good blocks. Always seem to be, not. I don't have very many problems with sand pits or wet wood or anything like that usually. So, of course, sand pits sometimes, but yeah.
Right. Have you found that the quality of the blocks that you've been getting for the last year or so have been better than they were before? That's what I've found, is that almost consistently everything's been really solid. And whether I get it from Rock Crafted or I get it from Vermont Freehand, therefore I was running through probably at the end of 21. It'd been about when I first started. I was about every fifth block I was having to toss it out because it'd have some sort of fatal flaw in it. But I just don't find that now. And I was buying, extra grade then as well. And so I don't know what changed, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's encouraging for me, because I have to place an order pretty soon. I'm actually running low. I actually haven't had to order briar for about a year, because I really stocked up at one point. So I couldn't tell you, but a year ago, I still run into some sand pits, but that's encouraging for my next order.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. One of the questions we got last week for the show was, do you do anything special to the briar? Do you age it? Do you let it sit? And Tim's response last week was no, because I get aged briar. I don't have to do anything to it. And I assume it's the same story, but you tell us. Do you do anything special to it?
No, nothing special in particular. I'm trying to think. No, not at all, really. It's just I get the blocks, I put them in the bottom of my shop, kind of covered, and yeah, nothing special. I don't do anything to them. They usually seem to be the perfect moisture for me. Although I did get some 30-year-old Italian briar from Vermont Freehand a while back. I got like 40 blocks, and I'm down to 5 now. And that was some really, really dry, hard wood. But yeah, it was good. It was good wood. But yeah, so.
All right.
Great.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I mean, even though you're only buying, and you guys are both pipe makers, I was on eBay earlier today, and I saw all this Grecian briar, and there were guys selling briar on eBay, and it seemed extremely reasonable, which, of course, trips a red flag for me. But have you guys ever bought any eBay briar? Any Grecian briar, any stuff like that? Garret is waving his hand. All right. Tell us the story.
That was my first pipe, actually. Pipe number 1 was an eBay. It was a block of Corsican briar that I got for $20 on eBay. Because I didn't know about Raw Crafted or Vermont Freehand. So I was just like, hey, there's a block of, I really want to make my own pipes, and hey, here's this pre-drilled block of Corsican briar with a long, pre-made stem. Let's just see what I can do with the machines in my shop. So I bought it off eBay, and I made it into my first pipe, and it was good. But then again, it was $20 for that little tiny block and stem. So yeah, it was my start.
Yeah, and you can buy Grecian briar from Vermont Freehand or Raw Crafted, and it's got it can be a little redder. I think the Grecian can have a little more of a reddish hue. But I don't find anything particularly bad about it or anything like that. I think the Mimo briars, the Italian briars, seems to have a little bit better, well, actually a lot better grain quality. I found than the Grecian briar. Yeah. But in terms of the durability and, whether it'll hold up and, the hardness and all that sort of thing, I don't think there's any difference really. It's just the character of the wood is more desirable I found with the Italian briar.
I'm in agreement with that. The Italian briar that I've been working with, then again, is that 30-year-old aged Italian. And it is actually kind of more of a red, like kind of in opposite of what you said. The it's a little bit more red than the Grecian. I think is it Macus? I think it's Macus Grecian that I got from Raw Crafted.
Yeah, right. Sure, right.
That's a little bit lighter in color than the
was it okay.
30-year-old Italian that I have.
Okay.
Okay. And what type of stem material do you mentioned ebonite? Is that kind of your favorite? Is that what that's
my favorite.
Your go-to?
I have not yet made a stem out of acrylic, which is kind of funny. I've only
you don't know what you're missing.
I don't want to know.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah,
it's hard stuff, man.
I'm sure you have to deal with the heat too, right? Like melting.
Yeah, there's
the
heat so much. Well, I haven't had that. You can have that if your tools aren't sharp.
Yeah.
If you're turning it at about 1100 RPM, you can melt it and kind of model up the surface. But it's the tendency for it to shatter that
Got
I
it.
don't like. So if you're taking a cut with a like a gouge or something like that,
Yeah.
to try to cut a radius and you put a little too much pressure on it, it'll shatter.
Oh yeah.
And it
Okay.
might not like break in like a bunch of pieces, but you'll take
Sure.
chunks out of it.
Take some
And
tips. Yeah.
yeah, and that's not fun. And then filing it, it's just a hard way to go. It's beautiful, and people like it, and I can see why, because the light is translucent and the light plays off of it. It's just beautiful stuff when it's polished up and
Oh, it polishes up.
finished.
Beautiful.
But man, getting there, jeez.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever tried Carolina, Cumberland? Aaron's, what's Aaron's last
Haven't
name,
tried
Jim?
material.
McGee?
No, I haven't. I haven't tried it. I
McGee.
think it's like a resin.
McGee. Yeah, I've used it quite a bit, and man, I like it. And I have it on a couple of pipes that I that I made and kept, and it has a good mouthfeel to it, and it cuts nice. I haven't found that it chips or anything like that. It's got some good strength to it. I like it, and it's there's some translucence to it too.
Right. Yeah.
Some of it, yeah, it's really cool stuff.
Very unique stuff. Yeah. He posts. I
Mhm.
like his posts, and yeah, I like some of the rods he comes up with. There's some pretty creative colors and patterns he comes up with.
Yeah.
And so I apologize in advance. Every pipe that I get, I put a pipe condom on it. And I'm sorry, I cover up your beautiful stem work because I have a very sharp tooth and I'm a clencher. And I just wanted to apologize to you personally for
No
putting
problem.
pipe condoms
Each their
on
own.
your pipe. Yeah. And by the way, this is, I believe, the first bent pipe you made. I think this was like pipe 50, somewhere in the 50s.
That looks. I remember
You-
that one.
Yeah, you made this as a commission for me, and you said,
Way
I've
back
never
when.
done one of those. Yeah, you said, well, I've never really done one of those before, and then you called me back a couple of days later. Okay, I made it, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
oh.
It was a little quick. Yeah, I got to it.
It was. I just want you to know that it is, and we have a question coming up. It is my Wednesday morning pipe.
Wonderful.
So every Wednesday morning for my dog walk, I take the bent billiard with the red and black stem on it, and it goes with me, and what I think I've had this over a year now, so it's probably got 70, 80 bowls through it. So well done.
Fantastic.
Well done. Yeah. So
Very good.
excellent. So what do you have coming up? I mean, what's on your radar? What do you think you want to make next?
Well, this goes a little bit back to the sandblasting question. I'd
All
like
right.
to get into sandblasting. That's kind of the next step for me. But yeah, space is kind of a restriction at the moment, so I may have to build something a little bit. Yeah, I may have to make something to make it happen. But yeah, the sandblasting is what I'd like to get into next. That's kind of like on the horizon. But other than that, right now I'm trying to make kind of more basic shape. I'm trying to make basic shapes and trying to just like kind of nail them. Just trying to really kind of practice on those basic shapes before I start doing anything kind of a little bit more adventurous.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know Pipe 164 is absolutely elegant. And I love the fact that you've got more brass, or, more metal adornments that you're putting on your pipes, because I really think that's cool. And it's just, I talked about this pipe last week because I just got it last week. This is like the elegant formal pipe. This is, I put on a suit and tie, and this would be the pipe I would throw in my pocket because it just looks like it's just a very formal looking pipe, and I'm absolutely thrilled with the way it smokes and love the way it looks. It's just classic work, and
Thank you. Yeah, I was pleased with that saddle stem. That stem that was the first saddle stem I think I've done, and I think it turned out nicely. I like it. I was pleased. So
I think this was pipe. I think this is pipes. I think this is pipe 61 or 63.
Whoa! I do not even recall that I did that.
Yeah, and it's got the cool green adornment in the stem.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, it's kind of coming back a little bit, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'll have to check my book because I have all the birth certificates for your pipes in my pipe book. But yeah, that I saw that one. It's like, oh, I don't think he's done one of those before. That needs to make its way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, pipe acquisition disorder is real.
It's real.
My name is Jim, and I have to go to meetings about it.
Hi, Jim.
Yeah, it's kind of like how can you tell the difference between a drunk and an alcoholic? An alcoholic goes to meeting, a drunk goes to parties, and I am
right.
So excellent. Well, I now, is there a California pipe show? I mean, do any of your local shops? And the reason
there's at my brick and mortar at the Tobacco Trader down in Culver City, they have some events. I think there was the Laudese representative, Joe. I don't know if you've heard of him, but the Laudese representative was there. The last event they had, which was about a month ago, at the Tobacco Trader, and it's just kind of like they'll just get people together and just kind of have like a small event and just people kind of smoke and just kind of chat. So it's not so often, but they do have them at my local brick and mortar, and it's just really nice.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because Smitty's Cigar I can't remember the town in Georgia, and some of the pipe makers that I know are going to that. And, because I've been in sales for so long, if I were a brick and mortar, I would do something like that, bordering on quarterly. Get the local tobacco reps to come in, get local pipe makers, something to draw attention away from the fact of the ridiculous taxes that people pay to smoke in states like the People's Republic of Colorado. So, excellent. So, how's the weather in West Los Angeles today? Is it mild and comfortable?
It was comfortable. It was sunny. I actually went out to the mall to return a pair of shoes. And it's a little bit brisk. So like at night it gets down to like maybe where I am about like 50, 55. So it's not too bad, but I know, it's so chilly.
Wow, you have to put on a sweater.
I don't know if you can see that.
What is it?
7 degrees.
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
Oh man, I've never even experienced something like that before.
Yeah, it's
it's an experience.
Here. Yeah, 5 here.
Wow.
And
it's something I have to experience. I've yet to experience.
Yeah, and
this is global warming at its finest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, it was.
They're carping about 1 degree Celsius, and I'm thinking, I'll take 1 degree Celsius. Give me 1 degree.
Oh yeah. So my wife, whom I love dearly, went to visit daughter, son-in-law, and the grandkids in Florida, and she goes, "Oh, Jim, it's so chilly here. It was only 61 today."
Oh,
And I'm like, it was -7 when I took you to the airport. And I sent her a picture, of the weather app and said, "Yeah, it's 1 here currently." So really, I'm obviously deeply upset and concerned about you at 55.
See that guy right there?
Oh, I see him.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
buddy.
at about 7:00 this morning, he wouldn't be denied. He needed to have his walk.
Oh.
And I walked, on our trail it's 1.5 miles, and I was walking back into westward, walking into the wind, and I looked like old Weird Harold. I had my hat pulled down to here, my coat pulled up to here. I thought my head was going to shatter because the wind was blowing, and it was like -13, like feels like -13. Oh,
Yeah, no,
they need their walks.
Yeah, I have
Jeez.
a small dog, and we have a parka for him because he's kind of a weather sissy. And I put on the parka and took him out, and he goes, "Yeah, Dad, we're going all the way across the yard, and then I'm done. I'm just going to do my business there, and we're going back, and I'm done." And it's like,
Oh, that's funny.
yep. Excellent. Yeah, 50 degrees. Yeah. Oh, I had to put on a jacket today, Jim. I go out looking like that kid from A Christmas Story where he's like a tick. And I just can't put my arms down.
right.
It's just awful. Awful. So
You don't cry. You don't dare cry.
Oh no.
Geez, I can only imagine. I didn't think about that.
No, your eyes are free shut. You can't do that.
Yeah. My
Can't
son,
scream. You open your mouth. Your jaw freezes open.
Yeah, my son goes, "Hey, I'll take Cooper on his afternoon walk." It's like 2:00. He figures, "Oh, the sun's shining," and he comes back in and he's holding his face like this. He goes, "I think the hair in my nose froze." Yeah, it sure did.
It did.
I am familiar with that. Thank God for the retro hail. Awful weather. So excellent. Tim, do you have any more questions for Garret?
Let me think. What's your favorite tobacco blend, Garret?
Great question.
Ooh.
Right now, because the answer to that is it's always changing. But right now, my favorite blend is Low Country Atalaya. I really like that.
I don't know it. What's in it?
It's okay. What's an Atalaya? It's very
Hold on.
pretty. If you can, Jim, yeah, that'd be good. But
Yeah.
So it's a collaboration between Cornell and Deal and Low Country or something like that. And Atalaya it has a lot of Perique in it, but it's got something like kind of salty, a little bit savory to it. I really just love the Atalaya, and I've been smoking that kind of alongside with the Steamworks and the Kringle Flake, the 2023 Kringle Flake. So kind of comparing all those three, and of those three, I really like the Atalaya.
Okay.
Which is
it is Virginia, Perique, and Orientals, according to the description.
Yeah.
And
you
Low
can really-
Country, yeah. So Low Country is the retail store that is at the front of La DC Distribution. And that is their retail outlet there in Monk's Point or Monk's Corner in South Carolina.
Mhm.
Where
What would give it the savory taste, Jim?
I have
Oriental.
no idea. I just get this kind of that would be a question for Jim for sure.
Yeah, that's the Orientals. Depending on which
Is it
one
really?
they used.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
The Virginias give you that hay, grassy note to it. The Perique gives you a little pepper, but the Orientals give it that incense kind of floral note that's kind of unique.
Yeah,
the blend. So
it's a interesting blend. It's different, and I like it.
excellent,
Cool.
excellent. All right. So Garret, you're more than welcome to hang out with us, and as we go through what's new. And then we'll talk about what's new at Tim's house. We'll talk about what's new here in the tobacco world. And then we'll talk about the Ask Us Anything. And if you'd like to stick around, we'd love to have you stick around with us.
Wonderful. Yeah.
All right. Tim, it's that time of the show where we talk about what's new at your place. What pipes did you make this week?
Well, let's see. Here, let me get a backing. Excuse me. Couple made a there we go.
Oh, I know that pipe.
I saw that. I saw that. That's really pretty.
So do you participate, Garret, in the Instagram Pipe Makers Club?
I do. I haven't started this month, but yes.
So I can't remember the shape that they asked for, but they wanted some metal, brass or something. So
correct. Copper,
this has just got a little. I'm sorry.
I believe. I think they said copper, but I think it can be anything. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. I have brass, and people say I have a lot of brass. And then there's another one that I made. So I don't know. The light's not very good. There, try that. There we go. So it's it's Morta. The Stummel is Morta, but I've had kind of a checkered experience with Morta. And unless it's a very thick pipe, like a tomato or something like that, I haven't been willing to make a Morta pipe for anybody because I've had them fail. They're just not, the wood's just not stable if you've got a thinner wall. Anything that's like 3/8 or less, quarter to 3/8, guaranteed it's going to crack.
Got it.
And so what I did with this is I put this is actually a briar pipe with a Morta jacket. And so this is, the whole chamber is inside the Morta, and the whole chamber is briar.
Got it.
And then there's a briar bit on the mortise, and then this is some of you can't really see it, but it's like an emerald green and black swirl. This is some of Aaron's rod.
The Carolina Cumberland. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can kind of pick up some of the green hues in there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I dig it.
All right. Are we going to talk about Aaron's rods again? Because that was a fun part of last episode.
He's actually sending me some of his rods. That's what I told him.
Excellent.
So, and then there's just one more here that's an egg, and this has got some black palm on the mortise. This one had some really nice grain, so I kept it smooth. And this is more of the of Aaron's rod. So this is it's got some reddish in it. It's hard to tell with the quality of light that you can get on this, but on this camera, but you can kind of see light a little bit through this. So it's kind of neat. Very cool.
Sweet.
So anyway, that's what's new here. And then the other thing that I got into the other day was at the Columbus show. They had a anniversary edition, Columbus show, pipe show, tobacco blend. Doesn't say anything on the tin of what's in it. It's delicious, but I can't keep it lit. And I don't know if maybe there's a little bit of maybe asbestos in it or something, because it will not stay lit. And it's really good. Dan Reese bought some, and I bought some tins, and I just put them away, and I thought I'd get, save them for a couple of years. But Dan Reese at Ohio Briar was telling me how good it is, and he just can't get enough of it. So I thought, what the hell, I'll try it. So, I rubbed some out, let it dry a little bit. It wasn't really very damp at all. Put it in a pipe, and I put it in a pipe with a 21 millimeter diameter chamber. And I thought maybe I just like too much, it's too open. So I put it in a 3/4 inch, same thing. Cannot keep it lit. So, Jim, that's the question for you. Why the hell won't a tobacco stay lit? I've not had that before. And it's not wet.
It depends on what's in it. So there are some tobaccos that are notorious for being difficult to keep lit. Without knowing what's in it, it's hard for me to say. And it might be, was it a broken flake or was it just ribbon cut?
Yeah, broken flake. No, broken flake, yeah.
Okay. So when you get broken flake, sometimes it takes a little bit, you have to rub it out a little bit more because the for lack of a better term, the fiber of the flake, because of its thickness, makes it a little more difficult to get it lit and keep it lit. That's
okay.
one where you almost have to do, your charring light, the relight, and another light, because you kind of have to beat it into submission.
Okay.
I have that problem with Star of the East flake from C&D. That it is a little difficult to keep it lit, so I rub it down so that those flakes come apart. If it's if it's bigger than a millimeter, it's a little bit more difficult. So
if it's a little bit chunky, you gotta have it. See, I was trying to let it remain a little bit bigger so that I wouldn't be drawing debris up through the draft. Because you could tell it could get pretty fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll work with it. It's worth working with. It's pretty good.
All right. Excellent. Now, Garret, do you have anything new at your house? Did you get anything new this week that you want to talk about? Any new tobaccos? Any new pipes? Do you buy from other makers?
I have not bought anything from another maker recently, but the latest pipe I bought was a little petite Peterson, and I got it at my brick and mortar. Because what happened was, so they're kind of interested in my pipes, so I had a few of them in their display case. One of them sold, and so instead of just having them pay me, I said, hey, how about I'll just trade you. How about I just pick up this Peterson? That's kind of about the same price of what they would owe me. So yeah, so we just did a straight swap for one of the pipes I made for one of these really cool petite little black Petersons bent. So that's one of the recent acquisitions I got.
Okay.
Tobaccos. The Anthology 2023, but I haven't tried it yet. So.
All right. I've heard mixed reviews on it. Some people absolutely love it. Some people are,
Same.
kind of on the fence about it. So
that's what I've heard.
Yep. So, all right. Excellent. Well, let's talk about pipe acquisition disorder at my house. So, Mark Dominguez from Lone Star Briar posted a pipe last weekend, and mysteriously it made its way to Parker, Colorado. And here's the pipe.
Ooh.
And it's a double.
Wow, that's nice.
And it was an interesting shape. It has it's a gray and kind of like an aquamarine eldritch stem on it, and I'll try to hold it up there so those of you watching on YouTube can see it. Fantastic smoking pipe. I got it on Thursday. I've run a couple of bowls through it, and I'm very, very happy with it. So nice work by Mark, and maybe someday we can have Mark on the show. So, and then Eric at EMC Custom Cobbs has been making this. I'm not sure what the style is. but I absolutely love it. And I got a rusticated one from him a while back, and I wanted a smooth one so that I could kind of have a set of them, and absolutely love it. I took this one with me to the airport yesterday. It came in Friday afternoon, and really, really like it. And I have brought no tobacco in because my orders are being held. Welcome to Colorado. So that's what's new in Jim's house, Garrett's house, and Tim's house. So are you guys ready to answer the questions for the show? Ask us anything?
I am.
All right. So as always, at Noah's house has questions for the show. And if you don't subscribe to at Noah's channel, he does some great stuff. Tim and I both like his gardening videos. And, you know, it's the magic of YouTube. Not only does he talk about pipes and tobacco, he also talks about gardening. So, ready, Tim? Here is your question. Do you find your blend choices change by the time of year? So as the seasons change, do you change blends?
You know what? I don't think I've ever tracked it by season. It changes a lot. Kind of changes all the time. And I don't think it matters by the season. I'm trying to think of, you know, you would think that there'd be like fall. You know, there'd be like a tobacco that you would like more than another, but that'd be the one season. But I can't think of anything that's sort of like jumps out at me because, you know, what tastes good today might not necessarily taste great tomorrow. You know, like what we were talking about, that Balkan that you made for me, and it just on the label, it just said Balkan on the cap, and man, I couldn't get enough of that. And then I was like, you know, went out to the shop. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm gonna have some more of that. I was like, I'm gonna try something else. You know, and it moved on to, you know, like some Virginia, and did that for a while. So I don't know. That's probably not a great answer, but it's not definitive. But that's just how it works for me.
Okay. How about you, Garrett? Do your pipe tobacco selections change by time of year?
I'd have to say my answer is pretty similar to Tim's. Really, it's fall is really the only time I'll pull out some kind of slight aromatics. Like this last fall, I was smoking some. I got some Scarecrow again, and that was nice. But so like around Halloween, I'll smoke Scarecrow. But other than that, not in particular. I have my regulars that I just kind of go through. So
okay. Noah, in answer to your questions, not at all. I smoke what I like when I want to, and I get up every morning and I stand in front of the tobacco wall, which you can see over my shoulder, and I have 2 racks like that of tobacco, and I say, I have a taste for this today, and that's what I'll pull out, and I'll smoke it that day. You know, when I'm testing blends, sometimes that will be, okay, I made this, I'm going to take it, you know, I'll have 4 pipes of it today and see what I think of it. But no, you know, I know that some people change. You're like, oh, I only smoke Virginias in the summer because I want a lighter tobacco, and I only smoke, you know, Latakia blends in the winter, and I smoke what I want when I want. So just depends on the mood I'm in when I get up. All right.
Yep.
Second question from Noah, and we'll start with Garrett this time. Garrett, do you have a pipe rotation?
that's a great question. I do have a pipe rotation, but it's very small. I smoke the majority of the pipes I smoke are meerschaums, alternate meerschaums. I have one that I use for like smoking out here in the shop. I have a small little nose warmer that I like to use, and then this pipe right here, Rich's pipe, is really the only. So it's really a rotation of 3 or 4 pipes. Honestly, it's very small. I have a small collection of maybe like 20, 25 pipes. But But
you got to bump those numbers up, Garrett. Those are rookie
I
numbers.
know,
You're
I
you're a
know.
pipe maker.
So, but I only like rotate between like those three those two meerschaums and then this one pipe I have here, and there's maybe a couple others that I'll pull out every once in a while. But yeah, no, my rotation is pretty small.
All right. Tim, do you have a pipe rotation?
It's going to sound an awful lot like what Garrett just said. Fairly narrow. There are ones there that I'll look at them and go, I haven't smoked that one in a while. I'll pick it up and I'll pack it and light it. No wonder I haven't smoked that in a while. I don't like that pipe.
Right.
But like I've got the only pipe of my own that I smoke a lot is one of the first billiards I ever made, and I just kept tweaking it and just mainly with the stem. Adjusting the stem and filing it down and getting it to where it's just right. And the things, it doesn't look great, but it smokes great. And so I go to that one a lot. But then, it's sort of like I've been overdoing it with that one. I've got a Savinelli that I like. I've got one of Simon's that I like. You know what? I take that back. There is another one. I have a cherry wood shape that I made for somebody, and it had a crack in it, and I just kept it because I couldn't move that one, give that one to him, so I just kept it and smoked it. So, but there's, I don't know, probably 6 that I go back and forth through, and then there's other ones that are sitting there that I got some Petersons and I just don't like them. I bought them when I first started, and I thought they'd be great. Get Petersons. They're from Ireland. And it's just not for me. I got a system pipe that's supposed to drain off the moisture, and it sounds like a snorkel when I smoke it. So
a little gurgly,
a little bit. So that's about it. I got a couple of pipes from one from Glenn Tinsky that I smoke now and again. It's a little tiny, real small pipe, and it's a bent, and I can work with my hands and have that one in my mouth. So yeah, like that. Long drawn out answer, but there you go.
All right. So I'll answer the question now partially. I have 7 dog walk pipes. So I have it's a day of the week pipe rack, and it sits here on the desk, and those are my morning dog walk pipes. And I have one of Tim's. He made this little calabash that I absolutely love, and I have 3 of the Garret pipes from Pipes by Woo in rotation. I have a Cobb, and then I have a billiard from Malcolm's Pipes, and those are the 7 pipes. And every Monday morning is the calabash from Tim, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the pipes Garret by Woo, and then Friday is the Malcolm pipe, and then there's an EMC Cobb that I smoke, and I just that's the morning rotation. The rest of the time I walk up. It's just like with tobacco. I walk up and stand in front of the racks of pipes I have and say, I'm going to smoke this one today. And I am a typically 4 pipe a day guy, unless I'm testing. So I will the morning dog walk pipe, and then the pipe I take to work. So I have a bowl on the way to work, the way home, and then I have the evening dog walk pipe, which I typically have. On the evening dog walk, it's the bigger bowls because it's in the winter it's warmer here, and Cooper likes to go on a longer walk when it's warmer. So that's my evening dog walk pipe. And no, but other than the morning dog pipes, it's whatever strikes my fancy that moment. Just when you get to a certain number of pipes that we don't talk about on air, you just pick whatever strikes your fancy and off you go. But I am a huge Dublin fan. That's kind of, it used to be bent billiards, and now Dublins have kind of taken over my collection. So, and I know where that Hawkbill Dublin's going, Tim.
Yeah,
I know where that one's headed to.
I'm excited to try the radiator. I've got Aaron's making a radiator for me, and
I've seen. Yeah.
Yep, I have one. In fact, that's just started a conversation with him. I said, "Are you making commission of those?" He says, "Yeah, I guess I am." I said, "Oh, great. I'll take a Dublin." And sure enough, about 10 days later, it shows up at the house. Amazing how that works. I send them money, they send me pipes. I kind of like this whole thing.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah. So our next question, Tim, is from Paul on Facebook, and I wish that I could pronounce his name, but it's another one of those names that has like 6 consonants in a row and then 4 vowels in a row, and I have no idea how to pronounce it. His question is, where is your location?
I'm in northeastern Ohio. If you took a ruler and you put the left point on Cleveland and the right point on eastern point on Pittsburgh and just drew a line, I'm right smack in between, in the middle, along that line. Yeah.
And Garret brought up that he was from West Los Angeles, so we know where that's at. And Paul, I am in Parker, Colorado. There you go. Excellent questions. Yeah. Jeff left us this question. So we'll start with Garret on this one. How do you stop a pipe from gurgling?
Well, okay. So if it's already gurgling, what I do is I take a pipe cleaner and I send it down to the bottom of the bowl. That usually will stop it from gurgling. But to prevent it from gurgling, I would say dry out your tobacco maybe a little bit more. Maybe don't smoke quite as fast. Yeah, that's really about it. Just not so fast. Maybe dry out your tobacco a little bit more.
All right, Tim, how do you stop a pipe from gurgling?
I can't really improve much on what Garret said. The only other thing that you could do would be to use the little stones, drop those down in the bottom of the chamber. There you go, and that helps. But I think if you don't have those, make sure that your tobacco's drier, and then slow your cadence down, and if you feel like it's starting to gurgle, or it's you're starting to notice it a little bit, then just sip it. Just sip the on the pipe, but a pipe cleaner always works too. Just drop it down there, and sop it up, pull it back out.
Yep.
So Jeff, I put the Nording stones in every pipe. Especially the bigger bowls. The morning pipes, I typically, they're a little smaller. Coop is in a hurry to get back to bed, so I don't put them in those. But everything else, the drive to work, the drive home, the afternoon pipe, I put these Nording stones at the bottom, and it has completely eliminated gurgle in its entirety. So there you go. All right. From Instagram, someone who sent me a message and then deleted their Instagram account, so I can't give them proper credit for it. Saw a bumper sticker on a Prius and felt the need to share it with us, and I thought it was hilarious. So here we go. I'm a hippie, not a vegan. Vegans are gross. You didn't think we could get through a whole episode without talking about vegans, did you, Alan? Of course we couldn't.
Vegans are gross.
Vegans are gross. And then our bottom line. And then Father Brian, a mutual friend of Tim and I's, sent us a little video the other day of a little girl standing on the stairs crying uncontrollably, and her mom goes, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Daddy called me a Democrat. And I thought that was hilarious. So we needed to share. So, Tim, I don't think Tommy is going to join us this evening.
I don't think so. I think he did say that he had a little bit of trepidation because he says he'd like to be, but he's not as cool as you and me. And I thought, you know what? You're a comedian. Why not be on? If you could say a thing like that, then you definitely got a funny streak.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is you don't get graded on it. It's all we want you to do is come on and talk about your 5 favorite pipes. Tell us the story behind
poor
it.
guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
Just that's okay. Chad's going to come on, and then we're going to get Lance on too. So we'll try to do whenever Chad gets back from Tanzania, which I'm not quite sure what he's doing there, but that's where he's at. So hopefully he gets back safely and travel well. So I really I don't have much else, Tim. I'm just having fun.
No, I think that's it. I mean, it's the cold weather takes all the humor out of you.
I'm standing here in a sweater wearing a hat in the house. It's awesome. I love it.
I was working out in the shop before the show, and the heater's just gunning, and I was freezing in there, because I turn the heater when I'm not in there, turn it on low, thinking that, at least keep the objects in there from getting cold. And, when you turn the heater on, then, you're not trying to defeat all the radiating cold off of all the metal in there, tools and that kind of thing. But with the wind blowing and the low single-digit temperatures, it's just like I didn't have a chance. I was in there. I was freezing. I had a space heater under my feet. And, you got sawdust flying, dropping down into a space heater. Bad juju. So I thought, that's probably not a good idea. Let's just quit for the day.
So what are you saying, Tim, that having your own, flamin' waffen in the shop is bad?
I know.
Just... Tim,
remember that song,
smell like a
nuts,
campfire?
Nuts, hot nuts? We get them from the Peanut Man?
Yeah.
That's what that had been.
Yeah.
What's that smell? That's me.
I've got a couple of blends that I wanted to test this weekend, and it's like I'm sorry, Richard, I apologize. I made that blend for you, and I was going to test it before I sent it off, and I'm not going out in the garage when it's -1. It's not even a temperature. Just no. Yeah. What are you thinking about when you're smoking this blend? How much I hate my life and want to live someplace else, mostly. What did it taste like? Right. Despair. It tasted like despair.
Tasted like abject despair.
Yeah. No, it's just not what I wanted to do at all. So I'll have to take it to work with me this week, a couple of days, and see what I think of it. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, other than that, next week we have Kurt from Walker Pipes on, and I'm excited to talk to Kurt because I have some of his pipes too. Shocker, I know. And hopefully we can either have Chad or Tommy or
I'll circle back
Lance
around with Tommy. I'm not sure what happened, but by God, I'm going to find out.
Yeah, Yeah. And we'll just have fun. And Garret, thank you so much again. For people that want to find you, you are on Instagram at
Pipes by Woo.
Pipes by Woo.
Pipes by
if they
Woo.
want to check out your website, it's pipesbywoo.com.
Correct.
And you also have an Etsy shop, which I'm going to go out on a limb here. It's Pipes by Woo.
Yes.
Excellent. See, look at that. And
That's it.
the cooter preference test said I had an IQ of about room temperature. So
that can you, if you put Pipes by Woo in to Etsy, if you go on Etsy and put Pipes by Woo, will your site actually come up?
Yeah. No. the site won't come up, but some of my items will. The site is
Well,
separate.
okay.
But yeah, the site is
Oh,
separate.
I didn't mean the site. I meant your pipes though. They'll come up.
Yes. If you put
Okay.
Pipes by Woo without a space, absolutely. Well, actually, I literally just sold my last pipe on Etsy 20 minutes before this podcast. So I don't have any more pipes on Etsy at the moment, but yes. You could.
Oh, is that the one with
Go ahead.
the red pipe with the longer stem on it?
Yeah, that one just went a little bit before the podcast, so I have to get that ready for tomorrow.
All right.
If you will, Garrett, copy the link and send it to Jim, and then we'll give it to Ben, and he can put it into the notes to this show.
Right on. The link to
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put
Etsy?
your Instagram
Or whatever you want. You know.
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll
Yeah.
put
Give us the. Yeah.
Yeah,
will do.
we'll help plug you a little bit, and
Sounds
hopefully we'll get you some new commissions from
Thank you
someone
so
other.
much, guys.
Yeah, we had a blast.
it's a
Thank you
pleasure
for coming
meeting
on. Well,
Pleasure
Yeah.
meeting
And
you guys.
we look forward to talking with you again in the future. So, all right. Well,
And I'll be
Tim,
in Vegas in
it's
October, so
we've
for the
passed
show.
New Year's,
So I'll see you there.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right.